Well, good morning, church. And this morning we are picking up back in 1 John, starting off in chapter 4. And we're going to be talking about this really important idea of making sure we pay attention what we're listening to and whether or not it's based in truth. And so here we go. Dear friends, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see if they are from God, because many false prophets have gone out into the world. This is how you know the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesses that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh is from God, but every spirit that does not confess Jesus is not from God. This is the spirit of the Antichrist, which you have heard is coming. Even now, it is already in the world. This idea in reality we have is there are a lot of people who are going to try and speak into our lives and try to tell you this is how you should live, this is what you should believe. And I think we've all learned, especially in last year, you can't trust everything you read online. You can't trust everything that somebody has to say. There are so many different versions of what could be true or not. It can't all be true. And the reality is, the only thing that we can truly trust and believe in is God's Word itself, the Bible. And so anytime we hear someone say something, we need to turn to what God's Word says. Now, what's important to remember about that is people actually will try to twist what God's Word says. They'll use it out of context. And so we need to be studying God's Word, making sure we understand exactly what that text means so that we can guard against that. Because people can easily manipulate and pull a verse out of nowhere and make it say something completely different. Just because someone's a great public speaker and saying this is what God's Word says doesn't mean we should just blindly follow them. We need to study God's Word. We need to be looking to those who we can trust that are not going to lead us astray. We need to be clinging to God's Word and trusting in that for our lives and learning how to apply that to our lives so that we might live it out so other people can experience the same grace we've been shown. But that first and foremost comes with understanding what God's Word says and what it doesn't. And so that's an important challenge for us today, that if you're listening to a lot of different, maybe it's sermons or maybe it's different studies you're doing, make sure that first and foremost that God's Word is not being distorted in any way, that it means exactly what you're being taught it means. And the only way we can do that is by truly getting into God's Word and studying it for ourselves. We're going to pick up on a similar topic tomorrow.